a rather large update just hit Dark and Darker's live server a couple days before wipe, and boy does Goblin Caves look interesting. There's some crazy map changes on top of Lantern Shield being added, which led me to some really fun PvP for the first time in a long time. So with these changes, I got to try out Lantern Shield a bit more, which I will talk about for the better part of this video, while showcasing some of the new silly changes to the Goblin Caves. I won't lie, I do feel a little bad for this guy, because I don't think you can actually get off that thing once that animation starts. So yeah, probably the best couple minutes I've had in Dark and Darker in a long time. Immediately after, we run into a spear fighter who I've been hunting down through the lobby that no longer has a zone. So you can just freely run around this place, albeit with a few rocks landing on your head. But boy, this Lantern Shield feels fun. That is a lot of swinging, a lot of damage, and a lot of HP. You will notice, and as I noticed, there are a ton of fighters with second wind on. I mean, there was already before, but it's even more so now. And even with all these rocks falling on their heads, that bonus HP they have, and second wind being recoverable through a campfire, it's kind of crazy. This is the final stages of a map, just to show you guys just how gloomy it gets. You actually lose a fair chunk of HP, and I do believe it slows you down for those little moments, but the big thing is, as you're maybe noticing now, the audio is crazy. You can't hear anything. It is terrifying. But let's jump back into the Lantern Shield. I will talk about my build in a little bit. I did find a Viking sword here. It's not something I prefer to use, but we had an epic engagement with this longsword guy. The riposts were flying, and I'm not gonna lie to you, keeping track of all this over top of the shield is a little bit crazy. Some people said that the timing on the riposte is very difficult, but man, I was loving it. I was really enjoying giving this thing a full spin with PvP. Seems to be that almost every person I fought, especially if you're fighting early, I was getting third-partied during like all of them. But man, that longsword fight was so fun. It was so cool to have that mix-up. And before I forget, yes, it does have a light on it. You press R, and it's not very visible, so I'm not blinding anyone. There's no, like, advantage from shining the light in their face. You can barely see it. It does help you spot people in the corner. However, it doesn't really help you finish them off. Once you put that light away, it is turned off. We land a couple excellent riposts here, but even landing those, I'm still getting clipped by the damage. Second wind is running on this guy. And like I said, this happened quite often. It always come down to me losing the fight, mostly because of adrenaline rush. And even in that situation, I felt like I blocked that, but it's just the typical blocking things that happen. As I mentioned, I was starting to get the hang of the whole riposte timing. Like, I don't know if they adjusted it, or maybe I'm just some insane god gamer with like 180 ms reaction time, which if you do the human benchmarking, I seem to always get. But I think they might have adjusted it. I don't know. You guys will have to tell me your experiences with it. I was finding it quite easy on mobs. I was using sword mastery, counterattack, and then, of course, shield mastery. You pretty much need sword mastery because you have, like, no damage with sword and shield. Interesting note, though. Shields can roll added damage. I think it's, like, 1. Also, mace, warhammer are now only minus 20 movement speed, so they're equal to arming sword. I will show you guys some warhammer, like, a quick bout with warhammer. I didn't really enjoy it. Arming sword still has that really quick action speed, that pop, as you're gonna witness. With that riposte being a 2-hit combo, that's very quick with counterattack. I really tried hard to fit in combo attack to get that 10% bonus damage on my sword swing. However, weapon mastery just became so valuable. In solos, having a recurve bow is still so huge. I sort of thought maybe I could fit in combo attack. If you're doing trios, you might be able to get away with it and just run a bunch of dexterity and have someone on your team play ranger or deal range. Once again, third party by another fighter class. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully second wind gets a little bit of a nerf. The HP is just a little high. So here's my attempt using crossbow. Here's what I'm talking about. That's actually Firebox, a very good YouTuber and streamer. We were doing fine here. We hit him, and then I think we actually tag him one more time just for good measure. But unfortunately, we didn't really get a chance to follow up on this. We get pushed by a wizard immediately. And like I said, if you're going into Goblin Caves and just running through the zone or the map now, fighting, if you're the first person to fight, expect there to be another player right on your ass. There's like There's nothing else for anyone to do. Everyone's just PvPing, questing's all done, and people want to see the new changes, so it's just a bloodbath in there. And this fight right here is the exact reason why I just don't enjoy running crossbow. Perhaps it's a skill issue. I could have hit that shot. But there's no real good way to fight a wizard with crossbow, I don't think. Especially one that's this high movement speed and just kicking your ass. I guess you just run at that point. But I'll prove my point later when recurve bow comes up huge for me. This was just a sad moment, like most fighters have when they're running shield. Also, this shield seems to be really slow when blocking. I don't know if they've changed all the shields around, but boy, do you feel the movement speed penalty. The movement speed penalty on shields has increased. I think heater, buckler, all of them slow you down a little bit more, so keep that in mind. You won't be able to space quite as well. I do think shields are going to become incredibly important. They always were important. Bard can also run this. So, HR and Inferno, from what I can tell, has way more nightmare mobs. Like, insane amounts of nightmare mobs. I'm hearing you can even find, like, the odd nightmare in, like, normals. Like, normals Inferno, which is pretty crazy for, like, a newer player. Shields are going to be so huge for stopping PvE damage. The more I think about playing Slayer Fighter into Thanos and all these nightmare mobs in parts of the map that I'm not used to dealing with them in, it's going to be very challenging. And it will definitely slow down just the spawn rush PvP war zone that can be Crypts when you're running really, really good gear. You're running like 300 plus lobbies, which I don't even think exists anymore. You clear stuff insanely quickly. Red mobs, like red skellies and stuff, don't even matter. So it is going to be interesting to see how the game changes, how it shifts. If new players are going to really experiment at all in that place, I'm really, really curious. But I think if you're a player that's like not great at dodging mobs, shield is a really good answer to that. It's a really, really good answer. I hate to say it, but I am not a connoisseur when it comes to, dodging every mob in the game. So, Lantern Shield could be an interesting option for you. One thing you may be noticing is Lantern Shield with a recurve bow is probably my favorite option. Especially solos. I talked about it a little bit earlier, but still. This wizard, I've already hit him I think twice now, which applied so much pressure to him. Like, he used some spells. He's now taken, even if it's only like 40, 50 damage, it might be sitting around half HP, which just stresses them out a little bit more. If I was using crossbow in that situation, there's no way. Like, I don't think I hit either of those shots. So, recurve bow, I'm just way more comfortable with it. It allows you to put pressure on rogues and wizards a little more freely, which usually results in more victories, like more W's. Crossbow, I think I'm just going to give up on crossbow for a while. It feels really difficult to manage crossbow. The movement speed meta, that is just everyone moving a little bit quicker now, no matter what gear they're wearing. You're going to get pushed by classes so quickly running crossbow. And boy does it feel good when you hit those recurve shots. It just feels so good. It just completely changed that whole fight. So I highly recommend it. I cannot stress it enough in solos. Movement speed feels a little crazy. I wouldn't mind if sprint got a slight hit, considering I'm seeing a lot of fighters, and I think this would be the first, maybe the first recorded spider parry riposte lantern shield. Anyways, my initial thoughts on the lantern shield are, it's incredibly fun. You will have to practice. Timing is not super easy. But man, when, like, that first clip when fighting that spear guy, it was so satisfying. The longsword fight, all those fights felt so engaging, honestly. And I will say, I don't want it to become just a free press right click, you do 2 hits every time. I don't mind that it's a difficult thing to time. It should be difficult, it should be rewarding. It should take a little bit of skill and not just like you press the block again and you have like this crazy long window where you can land the riposte. The combinations with combo attack and counter attack and shield mastery are really, really interesting. So I'm kind of excited to see where Shield Fighter ends up, especially now with mob changes, HP changes, move speed changes. It's an interesting world we're about to jump into when June 7th rolls around. I don't know, I was loving Slayer Fighter, and now this shield has presented me with a really, really intriguing avenue to find and explore new builds, like you're seeing here. I did try Warhammer Like I said, it's only minus 20 movement speed now. Don't forget Halberd also. Minus 40 movement speed now instead of minus 50. I tried Warhammer. Messing around with mobs. We see a Barbarian. And of course, take a couple swings from this little guy. And then are left to deal with a nice little buffed up Savage Roar, Killer Strike, Barbarian. And this was pretty much just a skill issue. I think I could have blocked those. I just need to aim a little bit higher. And maybe we can deal some damage in return. But you just watch this back. It looks like I could have blocked these. It was just my own fault. I don't think he was like inside my hitbox or anything. So with that, I hope you guys are enjoying Lantern Shield. Please get in there, fight, test things out. Enjoy these few days before everything just goes absolutely nuclear.